Welcome to another episode of the Prospects Corner, brought to you by the Traveling Hoopers. This week we get into more state tournament play, this time in Texas, where we check in with a 6A divisional rivalry game. The Richardson Eagles versus Dallas Jesuit. Richardson got off to a really hot start behind Rylan Griffen, the 4-star prospect. The athletic 6'5" wing got busy in this one, and he did it very early, hitting really good pull-ups, hitting everything from distance, getting to the rim, showing off that really good athleticism, especially in transition, and just overall using his length to be effective all over the court. He had some really nice blocks from some jumpers that some kids tried to shoot who also had pretty good size at about like 6'3". Rylan Griffen is a really talented prospect, and it's just really clear that this is a really good package. 24/7 currently has him leaning towards Oklahoma University, but we will see. And he is currently listed as 24/7's 75th prospect nationally, and after a good summer, it's very likely that this man could be going up. Griffen's backcourt teammate Cason Wallace wasn't as explosive offensively as Griffen, but he had a really solid game all over. He played really good defense on one of the best shooter scorers in the region in Gavin Perryman, who we'll get into a little later. But between the defense that he supplied, the playmaking that he had on offense, and just showing us the goods. He put a kid on skates a couple times and then put him on skates again to get us his own bucket. Just the different things that we're seeing from the assist, to being able to play defense. And I believe he's even in 5-star territory now, coming in as the 17th prospect in the nation. Really good total package here. Now to get into Dallas Jesuit star Gavin Perryman, who put on one of the better offensive displays that I've seen during this year's state tournament run. Just the different things he's able to do off the bounce as a cutter, showing that he can pass out of attacks. Just has a really good head on him. I really like what he does. He also has the size to play at the Division I level. He currently holds one Division I offer from Army West Point. And to be completely honest with you, I think, especially at that level, he deserves a few more looks. Between his size and his ability to move off screens and his shooting, there's definitely a place for him at the level, especially with the clip he has shown. If this is a kid that goes to JUCO as the type of shooter I believe he will be, as long as he gets the opportunity, this kid is definitely college material. Staying in Texas, we go to visit the Beaumont versus Henrietta game. Now, this one was a game that I was really interested in seeing for Beaumont United. I haven't seen them since Wesley Yates' freshman year when they played at the Allen High tournament. So this is a blast from the past with some really good prospects that I'm glad I can key back on. The first one who really popped out in this game was Terrance Arceneaux. This kid is really athletic, and at 6'7", he has an amazing defensive package. He finishes well, like through contact with floaters. He can finish at the rim with big dunks. I mean, he's an amazing athlete. There's just different things we're going to see here. The breakaway dunk, he showed a pull-up, and if that is a consistent part of his game, this is a very dangerous kid to still be in this 22 class and just outside of the top 100. He's a very valuable 4-star prospect that I think is going to be a monster at the college level. And going to visit our now sophomore Wesley Yates, he did exactly what I expect from him at this point. That's being a big off guard that can make defensive plays and shoot the ball well. He showed that with the pull-up. He's being more aggressive as a driver from what I've seen last year. He had a really good pass into a big layup. He tried for a poster later in the game, and I'm just really impressed by what we have from a 2023 class altogether in Texas, because this young man is special. When 2023 rankings expand, expect his name to be somewhere in the mix. All right, and looking at Beaumont United's matchup, Henrietta, there's two standout prospects that I really want to talk about. The first one being Jaden Williams. Now, whether he wants to be a quarterback or a point guard at the next level, it's completely up to him. This kid has shown me that at some levels that he can definitely get the job done. Between the floater being as explosive as he is, being able to get to a shot when he wants, the athleticism to go ahead and take the bump as a smaller player, even though he's probably about 6 foot. He has really good hustle. There's going to be a play that we're going to show where he just gets this explosive block. I believe they call it a foul, but he jumps so high, so quick, and it's just that type of explosion at the next level is going to be really hard to not find valuable. And then staying in that 2023 class, we look at Mashai Hill, and this is actually one of my first looks at him. Big, strong body at 6'8". I am pretty impressed. He got a few blocks just using his verticality. He fights for offensive boards. He fights for boards, period. There were some finishes, some putbacks. This is going to be a case of bigs developing slowly, but anytime you can produce while obviously seeing that you have a higher ceiling, very impressive. All right, before we get out of Texas, we have to see what's up with Duncanville over their last 2 games. They played both Mansfield and Waxahachie. The first game we'll key in is that Waxahachie game that sent them to the Final Four. Of course, we'll look at Waxahachie first so we can talk about CJ Noland. At 6'3", I believe they have him listed at 220 pounds on 24/7 Sports. This dude is a tank. I love the way he can generate offense just unto himself, especially at the high school level. He sinks in defenses. You have to almost throw 2 people at him. There is not enough guards in the nation that can really just one up him. I think he's going to be very valuable for Oklahoma next year. He also comes in as a really good shooter. Between the size, the athleticism, body, and the shooting he'll take to it, I think as long as he gets into a comfortable rhythm, this kid is going to make some noise at Oklahoma. And before we get finished with Waxahachie, I want to give a big shout out to Waxahachie's Z Roberson. That kid played his butt off this game. Like, as a shot maker, he did what he was supposed to do, coming up big for his team in a tough loss to one of the best teams in Texas. Now, I'd be remiss if I did not mention 6'4" forward Montez Young. When we talk about freak athletes in Texas, his name has to come up. At his size, the energy he plays with, he makes up for any size he is lacking. The speed at which he recovers, his ability to jump, be explosive, have long arms, play hard, it's all there, and it translates to a myriad of things. He rebounds really well for anyone that's 6'4". He can get putbacks at any time. He's going to win your 50-50 boss. This is like a coach's dream and a kid that's almost hard to describe outside of grit, toughness, and just winning plays. All right, and before we get into the Duncanville performances, let's talk about Mansfield. They had 2 really good recruits that I want to talk about. One being Andrew Griffen, the 6'4", do-everything guard forward. He hit shots from deep, like he's a really solid 3-point shooter. He finished really well, especially through contacts. He had multiple and 1 finishes, and he looked really good off ball, making several timely cuts that turned into layup opportunities that he would finish or get fouled on and get steals by shooting the gap. He's long, he's pretty quick. That closing speed usually amounts in 2 points going in the other way. Griffen's teammate Andrew Iyamah, he's also very interesting. At 6'7", the activity level he plays with in the post is pretty impressive. He has good feet. He had several spin layup finishes off a really good defender in Ronald Holland or Cam Barnes. Both are 4-star, 5-star big men from Duncanville, were just really good out of the 2023 class. But what may have impressed me the most about Andrew Iyamah was his passing. There was just a few bounce passes that he threw during the game from the corner, making a post-entry pass that I just wouldn't expect from a guy that size. He ran the floor, he finished around the basket, he even blocked a few shots, and again he picked up more assists showing off that creative passing. He doesn't have a lot of offers, but I do think this kid is going to be impactful. Clearly still pretty raw and young in the game. So why not take a flyer? And finally, getting into Duncanville's play, the first guy up is going to be Juan Reyna. He's really impressive as a shooter. He's going to Alabama State. In each one of these games, he brought really good defense, shooting from deep, and the ability to pass the ball. He had a few alley-oop assists, just showing that he's a really good playmaker. And it's really that defense and that shooting that sets him above the rest and makes him such a good fit in this Duncanville team. Thing that I can definitely note out about 4-star prospect Zurich Phelps going to SMU is that his activity level in every single game is there. As an athletic 6'4" guard, he has a really good motor, and it shows up on the defensive end where you can see him cause a lot of disruptions and then get out there on the break for his patent one-hand oop dunk that he continues to do throughout these highlights. He's just a really impressive athlete. He can get to his shot. He knows how to get to the rim. He has his moves, and most importantly, he has a floater where he doesn't just always have to give up his body to make the play, but he can, and when he does, it's explosive and it gets him to the line. Going into our next prospect, Damian Nicholas, he is going to Sam Houston State. He is another big physical guard this time, specializing in locking people up man to man. As a big physical guy, he can guard multiple positions, put that body on you, and really be a suffocating force. I'm really impressed by how he takes contact on the offensive end, but doesn't shy away from a floater that's very efficient, that he can hit very often. He is a second chance guy. Not to sound too generic, but this is a guy who turns 50-50 plays a little bit more lopsided your way just because he wants it so much. He's probably going to go down as one of the winningest guys in Texas State basketball when it's all said and done, having 3 straight championships at the highest level in the state. Next recruit up is 5-star 2023 forward Ronald Holland. This dude brings energy to the court every single time. You can see it after every defensive play, after every bucket, during every timeout. He is full of energy, and that 6'8", having really good athleticism in that energetic body, he makes plays all over the court. He's really good in transition. If he can take you off the dribble with 1 or 2, he's going to do it. He's a really good straight line driver, and I believe he's just scratching the surface of what he can do. This kid is really interesting. And with that body and effort level, he's going to be causing havoc for years. Duncanville also has a really good skill and development staff. So whatever this kid wants to be, he's going to have the opportunity to do it over the next 2 years, with the offense likely going into his hands next season. For CJ Ford, the first note that I wrote down for him each game is good defense. That's where the game starts for him. At 6'1", 6'2", he's a really good defender. He's strong. He slides his feet. He has really good hands, too. He kind of directs traffic. And what may be most important at the next level is that he's a really good shooter. During the Mansfield game, he really got into a zone and just knocked down everything. The jumper looks really good. The defense looks really good. This is another kid that I can't wait to see him in a full-time role next year.
Once again, Calvin McGowan, hope you enjoyed yourself. If you are watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, leave something in the comments. You can also listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. If you made it this far, once again, thank you. I hope you got a lot done of whatever it was you were working on while listening to this. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.